Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Are you fed up with the corporate bullshit holding you back? Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the digital entrepreneur podcast, the ultimate launchpad for entrepreneurs ready to seize control and unleash their creative genius. Hosted by Phil Better, the Podcast Mogul. Each week, he's breaking the chains of conventional work with bold strategies, raw insights, and inspiring success stories from the digital entrepreneurs who took the risk and invested in themselves. This is your call to arms. Invest in yourself, break free from someone else's rules, and build the empire you deserve. Now let's dive headfirst into today's explosive episode.
Welcome back to another high-impact episode of Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast with your host, the Podcast Mogul, who helps you grow and monetize your show. But we're talking about e-commerce, because if you're in the e-commerce world, growth strategy, or scaling a business, you better buckle up, because today's guest has helped brands drive over $1 billion in revenue. Yes, that's a B, not millions, billions. And he's here to drop some serious knowledge. He has over 25 years of experience. He's worked with Fortune 500 giants like Pepsi, Canon, Tommy Hilfiger, and of course, Sour Patch Kids. Who doesn't love Sour Patch Kids? All while helping startups scale at record-breaking speeds. He's been endorsed by Gary Vee, Neil Patel, and Matt Higgins from Shark Tank. He's built a reputation as the go-to expert for unlocking explosive growth. His Rapid 2X program, which we will talk about, generates about 108% average increase in just 21 days for 29 brands across 17 industries in 2024 alone. And with his AD method, he's proven that e-commerce brands with product market fit can achieve 2 to 10 times growth, no matter the economy. So if you're ready to scale faster, sell smarter, and maximize profits like never before, get ready. Today's episode, we're sitting down with Sabir Semerkant. Sabir, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Phil, for having me on your show.
I am incredibly honored to have another amazing guest like you on the podcast, teaching us how to grow e-commerce, because e-commerce is kind of like the backbone of the digital entrepreneur world, right? We all sell something online. It's e-commerce, right? So I want to know, though, I want to go back to the beginning. Before 25 years ago or 20 plus 5 years ago, what made you decide, hey, I'm leaving corporate to go into entrepreneurship?
Total accident.
It seems it's either an accident or you got forced into it. That's the two answers I get the most.
Total accident, and I was forced into it. So
double barrel.
So before I started on this journey, right, I was a different kind of a hacker, right? I'm a growth hacker now. That's the term people use, growth advisor, growth hacker. But back then, my background is in computer science. So I'm a hacking nerd, like coder, 20 plus languages, millions of lines of code, even infrastructure related stuff related to the internet. I've built a lot of it also from the ground up. This is before Shopify, right? So if you want me to build you an e-commerce business from the ground up, like literally all I have is Python or PHP or Java, I can do that too, right?
Wow.
So that's who I was. And people, just like now, people know me as, if you want to grow your e-com business, you go to the Rapid 2X program under my guidance, and I and I help you explode your business, right? Back then, if you had an e-commerce startup or e-commerce channel and you want to do it right, I was the guy to go to, right? From a tech standpoint, right? So the transition happened. So this is kind of this is when the spider bit me, because you have Mickey Mouse on your background there, So the spider that bit me was, just like normal, I got pulled into Vitamin Shop by Jeff Horowitz. He's the founder of Vitamin Shop. Vitamin Shop has now thousands of stores across the US. You see them everywhere. Back then, it was like they had about 300 stores. So, what they did was, just like a lot of other companies, right? Just like these days, you see on the public markets, you see the term blockchain or AI, and the stock just skyrockets. Back then, a lot of companies would spin off their .com into a separate company, and it would go up on NASDAQ, right? That's what Jeff Horowitz did also with vitaminshop.com. The retail store stayed within the parent company, but the .com went public, right? When it went public, just like everybody else with a lot of bad advice, they spent all of their money, right? Whatever money they raised from NASDAQ. Eventually, what happened was the company went bankrupt. Vitaminshop.com went bankrupt from NASDAQ. It's all public information. Just before it went bankrupt, it was about $8 to $10 million business, right? With mounting losses, they couldn't pay it, so it went into bankruptcy. Jeff Horowitz went into the bankruptcy court and bought the distressed assets from the bankruptcy court to bring it back into Vitamin Shop Industries, the parent company, right? And then he said, okay, who do I get in touch with to put this back together, right? That's how I got involved in that business at that time, but as a tech person, as an engineer, right? So I get involved. The servers are brought back from the court, from the custody of the court to back into North Bergen, New Jersey. There's a warehouse there. It's put up there. Now, I'm a tech guy. I get involved because I came highly recommended through his network. So I take these servers. I even cut my finger, right, moving the servers, because this was like I was employee zero, basically.
You're really putting your blood, sweat, and equity into this business.
So I start moving these things. At the same time, I'm quickly interviewing to build up my team. And the place does not even have an office for us. So I walk around, and in the warehouse, I find an area like a conference room in the warehouse in North Bergen warehouse that I see that, it's a nice big enough space. It's one big gigantic table. I don't care. I'm going to put computers up here, and I'm going to start hiring people to work on my team here to rebuild this thing. So I start doing that, and I'm not waiting. I go, there used to be a data center called Exodus back then. It's similar to like Amazon Cloud right now. Back then it was Exodus. So, I take the servers, load it up in my car, in my van. I take it over there. I work up a deal with them. I bring the stuff over. They start putting it together in a cage for me, because that's what you used to do back then, right? There was no Shopify that you plop down $29 a month and you have an e-com store, So for today's entrepreneur, it's an amazing blessing, right? To have all of these facilities. It's incredible, right? That's why I have sped up what I do very quickly. So what happened, I put the stuff up, and then I put the stuff up. I start optimizing all the tech things that I would do. I would do those things because it was not in a good shape. So I did all those things. I start optimizing all the technical things and stuff. And then I finally go up, give an update on what's going on with the business. I say, okay, now the vitaminshop.com is back up and running again, right? So, and I've optimized these kinds of things, and this is what's happening on the site currently, because there was some organic traffic coming in because everything else was shut down, right? There was just, back then it was Alta Vista and Yahoo sending organic traffic. Google, I have beta tested at Stanford, right? Google. So, wow. This is the dark ages, right? So I
bubble.
Yeah, I go over to Jeff. I say, hey, connect me with the business marketing person so I can team up with them. Let's get this going. He gives me a puzzled look. He goes like, what are you talking about? I heard from my network, you're the guy. You're gonna do all of this. I'm like, Now it sounds like Scotty talking to Captain Kirk, right? I'm an engineer, not a marketer, right? He goes like, no, I've seen what you've been able to do. You've already improved things compared to the people that I had that bankrupted the company, right? So I have full trust in you. Why don't you get started? Have you taken any marketing courses or anything like that, right? I was a young guy 25 years ago, right? So I said, no, they made me take accounting 101 and economics 101. Otherwise, they wouldn't give me my computer science degree, right? So he goes like, okay, you know what? You're a smart guy. You can figure it out. Go pick up some marketing books, learn, teach yourself that. I'm going to teach you the vitamin business, right? The ebb and flow of vitamin industry, right? So I start on that journey. So being an engineer, you cut things down to like small parts and you start conquering them. That's what you do. That's my engineering background. Like literally any problem you give me, I'll break it up into like 15 parts and I'm going to address one part at a time. And then I'm going to improve that. Guaranteed I'll do that, right? So what I would do during Monday through Friday, I would go to Vitamin Shop and I would run the things that I learned. And where did I learn it from? Garden City, New York. There's a Barnes & Noble, big building near Roosevelt Field Mall. I don't know if you're familiar with the area, right? There's a huge mall. Roosevelt Field is a pretty big mall. There's a bookstore there. I would drive up there. I would sit in there like on Saturday, Sunday. That was my religion, basically. I would pick up a marketing book. I would read it. I would make notes, right? Some books that I found to be really valuable, I would pay for it and I'll bring it and add it to my library. Whatever I was learning on Saturday, Sunday, I would come into work Monday through Friday. And to me, it was an experiment. That's it, right? Everything what I did was I came across TV marketing. I came across direct marketing because back then, nobody had written a book on e-commerce because e-commerce was nascent, right? It's similar to what if somebody talks about blockchain or crypto or whatever, or AI nowadays. You can only find YouTube videos on it right now. There are not that many great books on the subject. So I would read that and I would come in and implement it. And to me, everything in direct marketing was slower than what I could do with e-commerce because I was reading about how recency, frequency, monetary value, life cycle marketing, measuring your results and response rates and stuff like that. And you would send a postcard out. You have to wait a month before you can get the results. I went like, oh my God, this is everything I want to do in e-commerce and I can do it faster, right? This whole industry existed that I didn't know about, catalog marketing and direct marketing. I could do all of those things with the tools I have. I can do it so much faster. So let me experiment. So I started, instead of postcard, it was email, right? Instead of being at catalog, it was a website that I was optimizing constantly, right? Everything I was measuring back then, there was no Google Analytics even. So I created my own data collection so that if somebody looked at a product page, they clicked on an add to cart, they did this, they did that, I was measuring all of it, right? I wanted to know, because for my own education, I didn't know any better. So I wanted to know how many people click on a add to cart, how many people look at a product page, add to cart, they go to the checkout, they check out. How many people don't do that, right? And I started creating all of these kinds of things. Back then, there was no search engine, for e-com sites. It was a content search engine back then because the initial companies that went up were news companies, basically. In fact, I even was a founding team member of Jim Cramer's TheStreet.com from CNBC, right? So I knew the technical side of it. There was no search engine for e-commerce. So at Vitamin Shop, I even created my own search engine for e-commerce called Moses, Moses. Now, before you get excited, Phil, that, he's being all biblical, Moses was an acronym. Being an engineer, everything is an acronym.
Yeah.
Moses stood for My Own Search Engine by Sabir, Moses.
I love that. Oh my God, that's genius.
So that 12x'd my conversion rate because my search engine was highly relevant based on, because I was learning about what the Google guys were doing at, with Google algorithm, high relevancy, stuff like that. And I was beta testing that. So I said, okay, they're doing it for all content. I'm going to do it for only e-commerce. So I created this Moses engine and I completely ripped out. In fact, Jeff was really upset because he had not only spend money on the search engine, content search engine, it was a commercial app. Back then, things were very expensive, right? He had paid an agency to actually configure it and set it up properly for this site. Now, here I come in and I go like, this is bullshit. I'm going to get rid of it. I don't care what you spent on it. I'm going to develop my own and we're going to keep on making it better. And I'm going to make that even vitamin search, not even e-commerce search, right? So that if I found out that you kept kosher, if I knew that you were interested in soft gels or powder or whatever you, based on your intent, I was giving you the highly relevant results. So my religion was data and this consistently being in this lab. I'm constantly testing. That was my mindset. For 4.5 years, my first try, like religion, Monday through Friday, there are 220 working days in a year. Even if you count holidays, sick days, weekends, you take all of those things out, there are 220 working days. Multiply that by 4.5 years, about 1,000 days, right? 1,000 working days. That's all I did every single day, right? And my goal for every day that I woke up and I went to do something different was one rule: improve anything on the site by 1%. Not, you know, how people think about, oh, I need to improve my business by 25% this year. No. Today, this morning when I woke up, I want to improve the click-through rate on my search engine by 1%. That open rate is about 14%. Let's try to see if I can get to 14.1, right? That's all I want to do, right? If I could do that, I have a very satisfying day. And at the end of the day, here's the kicker. I'm not going to fire myself, right? I'm going to rehire myself to do another day's worth of 1% improvement. Slow and steady wins the race. We learned that story when we were young, right? So the people who think that business is a lottery, that they want to get ridiculous growth, they usually are the ones who end up losing big time, right? When you are very methodical, very intentful, you do one thing at a time. That was the biggest lesson I learned in those 1,000 days, right? That every single day you set a goal, you meet that goal. In fact, when we talk about the Rapid 2X program, the number of tasks that I prescribe that needs to be done is 5. Why? Monday through Friday. Just complete one each day. That's it. How long does it take, Sabir? Between 15 minutes and 90 minutes each day. That's it. In fact, there are some Rapid 2Xers. Their goal is to work less. So they end up, and one of them actually, I want to name her, is Lisa Denon from Alliance Leather Co. After completing 12 weeks, her momentum got so good and she kept on going because we will talk about the 8D method. You see the book back there, right? We will talk about the 8D method. After that, now she's scaling her business like this. So more than 8 figures now, right? And Meta Ads ROAS 9x. Works less than 10 hours a week. So it's not about busyness, it's business, right? It is spelled with an I, not with a Y. A lot of entrepreneurs get this wrong, right? I'm working really hard, Sabir. I'm doing 18 hours a day. I'm hustling. No, you don't need to. Why are you working why do you need to work harder than you need to? You need to work. This is not a cliche. You need to work smarter, not harder. Right?
100%. So I love what you're talking about, because there's so much for a new entrepreneur coming into it that can take it. Like you said, break down big problems into some manageable tasks, improve 1% every day. That is like my goal. Like my goal is to improve 1% over the year. Like if I start at 10 and I end the year at 11, I'm happy as a pig in, mud.
No, I'll give you the multiplier effect. The real multiplier is when you 220 working days, right? Because people go like, Sabir, I'm not a robot like you. That's fine, right? Yeah, well, my kids think I'm a robot too, right? But here's the thing. You do that 220 days. If you do that religiously, that's 22x in a year. In 1 year, 22x. And I've given you your sick days, your maternity leave, your holidays, you whatever, family vacation, weekends, all of that, I've given it to you. There are 220 days, 22x. Let's say you're not always right. You're not going to get that 1%, right? Let's say more than half the time you're wrong, right? 10x. You can do 10x. I have done that several times.
I love that.
Yeah, from 3 to 10 to 30. In case of Vitamin Shop, to kind of conclude that story, right? When I took it over, $8 to $10 million with heavy losses, right? That's why it went bankrupt, to $52 million in 4.5 years. Try one.
God dang.
Sabir, that's insane. I want to ask, like, because you intrigued me with this 2x. So I want to know, who is the 2x for? Like, who is like the ideal person to jump into this 2x program of yours?
It's more about the person than their business. Let me clarify that, right? There are two types of founders, and you deal with entrepreneurs, founder stories, and you can see that once I explain it to you, it will make a lot of sense, right? And ideally, you want entrepreneurs to be in one camp and not the other camp, right? Especially when you're starting your journey. So let's talk about your journey from zero to $10-20 million, right? And a lot of entrepreneurs fall into that, right? There's one entrepreneur, which I'll be very frank with you, I do not like at all, right? And this entrepreneur says, oh, you know what? I need a guy for that. Let me just give that to the guy. What is that guy or gal, right? Oh, it's a meta ads. I need a paid media ads person, right? I need a Google ads person. I need an affiliate marketer. Logistics. I need to figure. You know what? The reason you became an entrepreneur, and that's the group of entrepreneurs that think that, okay, once I have the babysitter, right, whatever glorified babysitter they have, will take care of my baby, right? But it's your baby.
Yeah.
Right. What are you going to do when the baby has an accident in its diaper in the middle of the night? There's no babysitter, right? Are you going to wait with that full of diaper? I just censored myself, by the way, saying that, right?
It's fine.
Next morning, you wait because the babysitter shows up at 10 a.m. That is going to be full and stay there like that. That's the group of entrepreneurs, and this 2X program, the Rapid 2X program, is definitely not for them, right? If you are that sort of an entrepreneur, right, you have it wrong. Unfortunately, you have it wrong, right? In that initial phase of the company, I understand you want to scale and those kind of things. There's a way to do it, and that brings me to the second category, right? The second category of entrepreneur, they say, it's my baby. I really need to know exactly what's going on with this business. I may not know meta ads, right? But I want to be involved. I want to know how meta ads works, because I still need to educate the meta ads person to tell them about the vitamin business. I want to tell them about my fashion, about my taste in luxury fashion, the way that represents my collection, right? They wouldn't know that. They may have done 10 different fashion companies, but they don't understand my POV into my fashion business, right? This is the entrepreneur who takes things into their hands, right? They may not have the expertise. That's fine. But they're smart enough to know that they don't have the expertise, but they want to learn, because you know what's the common thread from that start of that journey throughout? They are. Because freelancers come and go. Agencies come and go. Employees come and go, right? Even if you hire full-time employees, they'll stay with us longer. No, there's no guarantee. Did you sign a contract with them for them to stay with you for that long?
You're signed for life.
Right? So you are the common thread. So you need to have a pretty good idea about, even if you hire a fabulous VP of marketing, they stay with you for 3 years. That's it. That's 3 years. Either you're creating a family legacy that you're going to leave behind, or you're building an amazing value that you want to systemize so that you could sell it and cash out, right? In either of those cases, you really need to be that common thread that understands how to build those kind of things, and you have to stay on top of it. And if you're that sort of an entrepreneur and And this is because of hundreds of brands that have gone through the program, right? They've gone through this program. This is why you see ridiculous numbers that you just cited earlier in my bio, right? That's why they see that kind of a growth, right? And if you're a person go like, well, I want Sabir to just go do it. The thing is, Sabir, with Sabir experience, you cannot afford,
Yeah.
right? If you want me to do it, right? Can I do it? Yes, I can do everything. Like I said, I can do it from all I need is I can download the open source Python and I can start coding it, and I don't even need Shopify, right?
Yeah.
All the way to building up $100 million business. I could do that, not a problem. But you just cannot afford my fees one-on-one, right? This is one of the reasons, like before, when I started Growth by Sabir, right? I had my clients were purely one-on-one. But all of these clients were venture capital companies, heavily funded, startups and companies like that, right? Venture capital, like a Shark Tank. I'm a growth advisor for sharks on Shark Tank, right? One of my main guys is Matt Higgins, who's a recurring shark. If you know Matt Higgins, he's the co-founder of RSE Ventures. The same RSE Ventures that built the entire Hudson Yards in New York City. So he's one of my students, and I'm his mentor. And a lot of his brands have come to me to actually help them grow all their e-com properly. But I wanted to bring, because I was getting constant like LinkedIn DMs and, hey, can I pay you just a little bit to kind of help me with this kind of. So I had to come up with something that I became more accessible to more brands, right? So that's where the birth of the 8D method back there. You can see the book there. And also, and we'll talk about it. And the Rapid 2X is the implementation program for the 8D method.
Love it. Okay. Before we touch on the 8D method, because I want to touch on that is insane. I want to know, what do you do? We know for the first 1,000 days of building Vitamin Shop, we know what you invested in. You invested in books to increase your knowledge. Now that you're past the first 1,000 days of building your first thing, and you're doing all this, what is something, or what is an investment in yourself that is constantly happening, that has kind of been throughout your whole career?
So at my core, I'm an engineer, right? So for me, I never assume, right? You know what assume stands for. I don't want to reiterate it here, right? But the assume also brings on a lot of ego, right? I literally park my ego at the door. I don't care if the number is $1 billion. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if the number is 118% or 108% or whatever, right? It really doesn't matter to me, right? Because the thing is, I'm running an experiment. I need to learn that and do that. So one common thread throughout my life, because a lot of people, when they get to my level, they think, oh, I know everything. As soon as you say that to yourself, you just killed yourself, because you stop learning and might as well die, right? So my life's philosophy has been never stop learning, right? I never stop learning. I never know everything that I need to know. I don't, right? So when you come from that place, that if your mindset is, oh, you know what, I need to learn this thing. For example, AI. I have all the AIs open right in front of me, right? From Claude AI to ChatGPT, I can tell you the whole breakdown of every single model, what works really well for one versus other. I take outputs from one and put it into the other thing, right? I know everything about it, right? That you could possibly know as of today, this second, right? But I always go like, okay, what else do I not know? It's great. I know what I know, right? I want to know also all the stuff that I don't know. So let me find out what people are doing in medical research. Has nothing to do with e-commerce. Let me find out, how's anthropology using this, archaeology using this thing. I want to know how it's being used for creating the next pharmaceutical miracle, right? That's curiosity. That's the thing that's never stop learning. And because what I learned also during this journey of 25 plus years, growing these businesses over $1 billion, is that what you think is a regular thing in the vitamin industry, and you take that concept and you modify it a little bit, bring it into fashion industry, it becomes a novelty. Oh my God, this guy is a genius. Why can I do that? Because the people who are in the fashion industry, they have the blinders on. Because everything they do at Perry Ellis, they do at Tommy Hilfiger, they do it at Calvin Klein, they do it all of these brands, right? Thousands of fashion companies. They're all like very much isolated like that. I come in, go like, oh no, let's do it this way. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. This is amazing. And they start seeing this kind of incredible growth. I've taken things from, let's say, high-end luxury fashion and brought it into plumbing supplies companies.
That is insane.
You go like, where? This is where, when you stop saying that, oh, I know everything, that's when you get in trouble. When you open up yourself to, let me park my ego, my opinion doesn't really matter. Let me set up the experiment, ABC test. Let me see which one of these ideas, not the fact that it's my idea. A lot of entrepreneurs get in a lot of this kind of trouble because they created this amazing video where their daughter is eating that peanut butter from the jar that they made, and they love that so much. Okay, being a parent, you should love that, right? I don't want to take that away from you. But when I tried to run that as an ad, it didn't work. I'm a horrible guy that's going to tell you, sorry, your kid is beautiful. You're, eating that peanut butter is beautiful. Sorry, it doesn't work as a meta ad. And you should be okay with that. A lot of people typically are not.
No, because
they don't want to hear my baby is ugly, because that's what they hear.
Yeah, they go out of the entrepreneurial space and they go into the parental space, and they're like, you're insulting my child. How dare you?
I mean, it comes in different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurs, they hire resumes. The resume looked great. VP of Marketing at Procter & Gamble, Director of Marketing, Direct Marketing Operations at Johnson & Johnson. You know what? That person that you hired, they could make one small mistake at Johnson & Johnson. That's going to be, from a cash standpoint, bigger than the entire revenue you're going to make in the next 3 years, and it will be okay.
Make a mistake at your place and
So,
it's costing you.
A resume has no meaning. It has no meaning. Like, you should be smart about, like, to get in the habit of testing. And entrepreneurs, please, right? If that TikTok kid that you hired from college tells you, I think we should do it this way, right? Try to listen and set up an experiment. Just listen, right? Because the thing is, you don't know any better. You don't, right? And if you say that, oh, I'm a founder, that I should be right and you should do it this way, based on what? You have no context. That kid that came out of college has been TikToking for the past 3 years. In fact, they were born into it.
Yeah.
That's their first language, in fact. Second language is English. Barely,
And then hieroglyphics is the third.
Emojis, yeah, you're right.
Emojis, yeah.
The pharaohs would be very proud of us right now.
They would be. Ancient Egypt would be like, I can read this.
Sabir, I kind of, we're coming up to the end, and I hate it, so I'm going to steal some more time of yours. With you being backed or endorsed by some big names like Neil Patel, huge in the game, Gary Vee, if no one knows who Gary Vee is, are you living under a rock? And of course, your mentee, Matt Higgins. How did you go about connecting with these huge people, like with Matt and Neil and Gary?
By the way, I have a whole roster of celebrities that I've helped their businesses also.
I feel great just saying it.
Will.i.am, Beyonce. I mean, there's a huge list,
We're just name dropping for fun here. Let's just name drop.
I'm dropping a few names there, right? A funny thing happened even with Will.i.am. I was doing a Zoom meeting with them. We had some sort of a technical glitch this was early days of Zoom, right? And my face went like this when I was talking to him, like in the middle of my sentence. And then I came back. I hear Will.i.am like laughing his ass off. He goes like, I go like, why are you laughing? He goes like, your face did the funniest thing, I now I get it. There was a technical glitch. No, I said my face always does that when it meets Will.i.am.
Oh, very smooth. Very smooth. I like that. But yeah, so how did you get connected, apart from being obviously the go-to guy for growth, but how did you the network and all that come to be to get
so here's my thing. My personality is that, to me, since everything is a test, right? When I meet people, that's how I treat them, right? I treat everything that I do with them, right, as that. So it just keeps on opening up doors, right? I never ever sought out Gary Vee or sought out. I can tell you my backstory how I met Gary Vee if you want to know, right?
I kind of do, but I'm going to save it for another episode because I want people to come back and listen to Sabir back on the podcast.
The thing is, you have to, if you're a person that you give, I mean, and Gary Vee does a great job in his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, right? The lesson of it is just give. Just give. You have the expertise. Just give it. Keep on sharing it with the world, like I do on podcasts like yours, and through my YouTube channel and other content. I do 5 live events every single week, right, over Zoom with hundreds and hundreds of people. Like on whether I'm doing my coaching or I'm doing my live Q&A with my community, and all of these old podcasts like this. Every single week I'm involved with that, right? So that has been part of me. Like that's what I do. Like other people would put a price tag on it. I go like, you know what? Let me give let me give this part of it out, and then when they have that level of trust with me, and they see that there's value, they'll come and pay for whatever I want to sell them, right? Because they know that I'm an authentic guy. I'm not out to just sell them a digital course. By the way, Rapid 2X, by the way, is not a digital course, because usually people confuse that with digital course people. Everything I do is live. There is no the recorded stuff, right? And the Rapid 2X program is it's a live program that you are part of.
I love that.
So Sabir, we are coming to the end. I'm going to ask you my final question, the one that I love asking all my guests, and this is someone with 25 plus years of experience is going to have a great one, but I have 10-year-old Sabir right here, right beside me. What advice would you love to pass back to your 10-year-old self?
Be more patient. Be more patient, because the thing is, what I've learned throughout this journey, throughout this life, right, that, earlier parts of my life, my first 17 years of my life, right, I was very anxious about doing things, and everything had to be done really, really fast, right? And in the past 25 years, what I've learned is people who run fast, they burn out fast also, right? And their companies fail also, right? I've actually raised a lot of dead companies from the ground up, right? Vitaminshop.com, AshleyStewart.com. There are so many examples, right? And being patient keeps your cool, and you can think more logically when you're working on these kinds of things, right? Whatever they are, right? Whether it's life's challenges that life throws at you, whether it's disease or divorce or anything like that, right? Being more patient is, and especially in business, like you cannot make quick decisions. When you make quick decisions, you make really bad decisions, right? And if you are more methodical, you look at the data. If you don't have the data, collect the data, right? The bad thing you could do is you could kill your budget on Meta ads because you made a bad decision. Or you could have waited and made sure that you made the right decision by collecting the right amount of data or hiring the right person, right? To do that. You didn't have to rush it. There was no need for rush. This is why, the people who go through the Rapid 2X program, e-com businesses, that's one of the first things a lot of e-commerce entrepreneurs in the program learn: patience. They're like, no, we joined the program to 2X it. Yeah, it's not going to happen tomorrow. There is a lot of mess you have created. We need to clean up first, right? Remember that $50 investment you did into Fiverr because somebody is going to get you 55,000 backlinks that you heard from Neil Patel. He's a friend of mine, by the way, right? You from Neil Patel that you need backlinks for your site. You go like, Fiverr, give me backlinks, $50 for 50,000. We need to clean that up. We need to get rid of all of those 50,000 backlinks because they are toxic to your business. So let's clean up stuff, and we will start. And by the way, in that first week of the program, most e-com businesses see an average of like 70 to 79% improvement in their revenue in the first week. These are very potent prescriptive tasks that you accomplish.
I certainly
like you would listen to that, or you want to listen to some agency that will give you 20-25% improvement in a year.
No, I'll take those 5 tasks, please, every day over everything.
Like it's literally a prescription. It's RX. I'm going to give it to you. Just do that. You don't have to do more than 1 per day. Just do 1 per day, 5 days. Some of them that actually see the results that quickly, what they end up doing, as soon as we're done with our session on Monday, as soon as I'm off, they go in and start running it because their goal is by like that night, by 11 p.m., they want to be done with the tasks because they already saw the results and they don't want to waste another 4 days waiting for the results for the week to come in. They want to start seeing the results starting Tuesday morning, you know.
Oh, that's insane. And makes sense. Once you start seeing the results, you're like, those 5 tasks, I can get them done in a day. Let's crush it. And then each day, you know, like the rest of the week, you're taking care of, you know, the other tasks that a business has. Sabir, I'm going to jump off stage here. I want you to tell my audience where they can follow you, connect with you if they're interested in the Rapid 2X or even to get your book 8D, which I'm going to go and find and purchase because I want to learn more about it. So the floor, sir, is yours.
So just quickly, what I would say is that we have actually set up a special offer for the listeners of this podcast. So you can go to growthbysabir.com/podcast mogul and Phil will add the link to the podcast description. So you can go there to apply to the program to see if you're a good fit, and then you'll connect with my team that they will evaluate your business to see if you're a good fit for this growth. To get your access to the book back there, right? You want to pay for it? You can send me a coffee thing or PayPal thing if you want to, Phil. But you can access that book by going to growthbysabir.com. And if you page down 3/4 of the way, that you will see that cover. And you can click on it, and my team will hook you up with it. You know, so that book, the 8D, actually goes through the 8 dimensions of your business that you need to optimize. It's not just a game of Shopify plus Klaviyo plus Meta ads, because that's what's wrong with most people that try to grow their business. Right there, you have to optimize 8 dimensions of your business. And that's what the 8D method stands for. And we focus on 1 dimension at a time. The first dimension takes about 6 weeks, and that's the Rapid 2X program that we focus first 6 weeks on performance optimization. And that's where people see anywhere from 70% to 112% increase in their business. And then we move on to a monthly schedule of hitting every dimension after that. And you just keep on making your business better and better and better. And what's great about the 8D methodology is that it's compounded growth. So the stuff that you work on January 1st will keep on paying dividends all the way through December 31st. So that's how you're going to keep on growing the business. Not just that it's pay to play. You just do something today and it's gone tomorrow. So definitely check out growthbysabir.com/podcast mogul and take that step. And my team will, not only you can get access to that book, you can also attend my complimentary live workshop to learn more too there, so that you can sign up for that. And once you apply, my team will hook you up and let you know when my next live workshop is coming up. And also you can have access to the book too. And looking forward to having you guys be on that side.
Oh my God, so much value given. Just like you said, just give. Of course, the show notes going to have Growth by Sabir /podcast mogul in there, because you got to get those good backlinks, not those bad links that we want. Sabir, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me today on the show. I'm looking forward to having you back on, because I'm sure there's another dozen more golden nuggets that you can drop
Let's do it during the holidays, man.
We definitely 100% will get you during a holiday.
How about 10xing your Black Friday?
Done. We're doing it. Done. We're going to make it huge. Sabir, thank you so much. To my audience, make sure you check out the show notes down below to connect with Sabir and get those free goodies and see all that you can with him. And remember to always invest in yourself.
Thanks for joining us on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. The Podcast Mogul reminds you that your journey to freedom and success starts with one powerful move: investing in yourself. If today's episode sparked your fire, hit that follow button on Spotify and drop us a comment. Share your wins, your challenges, and what drives you to break free from the corporate grind. Remember, you're your best investment. Always invest in yourself because your potential is limitless. Until next time, keep hustling and take control of your destiny.